The government pursuing an agenda of change, this as it gives a progress report on its fiscal plan in Parliament today. Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley. Topping the news tonight, during the mid-year budget statement, Prime Minister Perry Christie revealed that the deficit has been reduced by $398 million since his administration took office in 2012. He says this proves that his administration remains on course to achieve sustainable improvements in public finances. As he gave the report, he also spoke about the efforts of the government on BAMAR. Here's Clint Watson.
Based on the numbers halfway through the fiscal year and government's projections are on track, recurrent expenditure at $1.084 billion is at 51.7% of the full-year budget estimate, and capital expenditure at $91 million is at 38% of the budgeted amount. Revenue is up some 31% compared to the same period last year. The $217 million is primarily because of the value-added tax, although other taxes dropped as a result of VAT implementation. Import duties were down by $26.9 million year over year. Excise taxes were lowered by $16.3 million. Tourism taxes were down by $24.9 million, primarily reflecting the elimination of the hotel occupancy tax, and stamp taxes on realty transactions were down by $38.2 million.
The government has a well-conceived and well-articulated agenda for change and reform that it has pursued with great determination and consistency since coming to office. Ours is a plan that eschews capricious and opportunistic short-term quick fixes that invariably fail to produce lasting results. Instead, our action plan is targeted, is balanced, and focused on the attainment of sustainable economic and social progress for the benefit of all Bahamians.
Bahama also featuring prominently in the Prime Minister's communication.
Make no mistake about it, we are dealing with an extremely complicated situation.
And despite the complexities of the Bahama issue, Prime Minister the Honorable Perry Christie still remains optimistic that a solution is near. Mr. Christie says because of its enormous economic importance, the government remains fully engaged with all the relevant parties in finding suitable arrangements and moving forward for the completion and reopening of the stalled Bahama project as quickly as possible.
Regarding the remobilization of the project, local subcontractors hired by the receiver's managers have been carrying out work for the completion of the convention center. The EXIM Bank and receiver managers are making every effort to ensure completion of the convention center in time to accommodate the 2016 IDB annual meetings next month, April. With regard to the full remobilization arrangements, I am informed that intensive discussions are now taking place between China EXIM Bank and CSEC, the construction company, on the detailed plans of remobilization.
Mr. Christie says a final agreement between China EXIM Bank and China State Construction Engineering Company will have to go through internal procedures and obtain approval from regulatory authorities of both parties.
Once the remobilization arrangement is approved, CSEC will then be responsible for working out the construction timetable and plan, and by then China EXIM Bank will be able to update the Bahamian government about the remobilization timetable and construction plan. The process of securing major investor operators is underway, and several very substantial groups have already been introduced to the government while the process is gathering pace.
Despite the marginal growth projected for the country, Prime Minister Christie says the Bahamas is expected to achieve growth and cut its debt. He adds that the success achieved to this point was possible without public sector layoffs or putting a dent in the provision of essential public services. Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.